Welcome to Bear Football here on the Barroom Network. John Maffone alongside Danny Schumann and Tyler Gaines. Ellis, the Bears fall 12-7, and what can only be described as an ugly, almost unwatchable game. Just the Bears shooting themselves in the feet on numerous occasions. Had a lot of opportunities to win this game. Plenty of things to go through. Gaines, instant reaction. Normally you're the beacon of positivity here, but I'm searching, man. What do you got?
Bro, I don't. The thing about I don't want to be positive right now. I don't want to be positive because I feel like we keep like giving them passes, John, and I'm tired of giving them passes because I mean we could talk about the bright spots on defense, bro, but at the end of the day, if you don't take advantage of it, like you're gonna leave the game in the hands of the referees. We could talk about Jaquan Brisker. We could talk about some of our new guys on defense, but I mean, my instant reaction is David Montgomery was wide open just now. Did y'all see that? Like that, my instant reaction was David Montgomery was wide open for a touchdown potential win. That's what I just saw just now. But it's like it shouldn't have came down to a last second play. It shouldn't have came down to the fourth quarter. I mean, with part of my language, man, but we literally just pissed down our legs. Like that's literally what has happened on national TV, and it's damn near embarrassing. Like bro, like this is why I be so confused why these analysts be picking us to win only 4 games of the season, and this is like it's ours for the taking, John. That's what I'm saying. I know that we're a young team. My fault. You said instant reactions. Let's go around the corner. Danny, what you got?
Yeah, it was just it's not another second week in a row. It's like like a game you could have won, probably should have won. Um, you know, in terms of that last play, I mean, Mooney goes up and makes a he goes and makes a clean catch at the goal line. That's a touchdown. Game over. Bears win. But he unfortunately bobbles it initially, and then he comes down with it, and he's short of the goal line. So it's a young team learning how to win, and unfortunately right now they're losing games more than they are winning. So the only thing is you got to look at some of the positives. I know it's tough right now, especially after a tough loss like this. They're 2-4, but they could easily be 4-2 right now. And but it's something that it's growing pains that the team's gonna have to get better. Unfortunately, like, the defense kind of let me down. John and I were talking at halftime about the rush defense being playing solid in the first half, and then come out in the second half, and then just let Brian Robinson and company right down the throats and stuff. And that was just concerning, especially when the Bears took that lead on that throw from Fields to Pettis for a touchdown. To come right back defensively and just give another score was really something that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. And then offensively, John, like we talked about in the first half, like we don't want to give up on the running game. We don't give them the running game, and then they start just throwing the ball over the field. And obviously, you don't have the weapons yet to be that kind of aerial attack. And then finally, they get the chance to drive down and again, yep, Mooney makes a clean catch. It's a touchdown. Game over.
Look, I mean, pick your poison on this one. You want to talk about Fields missing the tight end in the end zone? Go ahead. You want to talk about, Velus Jones fumbling the punt? Go ahead. You want to talk about the phantom DPI calls? Go ahead. But like there was plenty of opportunities to win this ball game, and they just didn't do it. You want to talk about the pass protection? Sure. You want to talk about Fields on his back half the game? Yeah, we can talk about that. But the issue was. A lot of these were self-inflicted. The Washington did not outplay the Bears in many aspects of this game. The Bears decided to hand over the game on a number of plays, and as we see here on a replay, I'm not exactly sure. This is the long play by Fields, this is part of like what makes you so excited about Justin Fields is because he can turn anything into a home run, and he put the team in a position to win late in the game, but. At the end of the day, he didn't have the best game of his life either. He made some big plays and he kept the team in it, but he did miss some throws, and this is part of that progression. I'm not saying this is all on Justin Fields, but I'm saying that this is Danny. You keep saying that you're evaluating this as Justin Fields' rookie season given the new system, and this is probably some of the things you're going to go through if this is serious growing pains. Gaines, I know you wanted to go a little deeper in what your evaluation or at least your thoughts on this team, so I'll turn it over to you.
Woosah. John, John, I'm positive, bro, but like I'm a little disturbed. First of all, shout out everybody in the chat. Thank you all for joining us. Shout out to my man Brian. I know we got a lot of Baltimore, some of my Baltimore people in the chat joining the Ballroom Network tonight. Welcome to the show. Glad you guys can make it. And I'm normally more positive and pumped up, but like as a defensive guy, it's just like John. The Bears have wasted so many good defenses. I don't want to say so many, but like remember when we had those defensive windows? This was a game that the defense had like we spent the entire first half in their red zone. You see what I mean? Like they punted like 4 or 5 times. It should have been 14-0, 6-0, and anything going to the half. But you leave them, you leave them into the game. And so my analysis is Charles Leno did a better job on Robert Quinn than our rookie did against Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Like Charles Leno. Like, but at the same time, I know Jess is going through it, but like I saw a lot of positives. I saw some positives. Brisker, Brisker and my man Gordon. I saw some positive with the tackling in the open field, but I was just like Justin. I don't know why he's not seeing the open guy. I don't know if it's more apparent to me now because Danny, did you see the deep pass to Mooney and the 1-on-1? And we had the guy coming across the middle.
Cross route.
But it was the fact that I get Mooney involved, but the fact, like you heard the announcer say, it was situational football. It's third down, bro. Like, do you want to be like Tom Brady? Do you want to be like Patrick Mahomes? Do you want to be a successful quarterback? Like, keep the drive alive. I would think the QB coach would be telling him, hey, yo, bro, I know you want to be great. Take your time. I know you're talking about the damn yoga. I don't want to hear this yoga crap. I don't want to hear these stuff. Breathe and move the chains, bro.
Yeah, on that one, Gaines, we talked about it real quick. I don't blame him because, and that's going to come in terms of the progression stuff like that. I don't blame him on that one specifically because he's got one-on-one coverage with Mooney on the outside, and Mooney beat this guy. A better throw, that's where he faults there. He's got to execute better. He's got to make a better throw. If he does a better throw, that's a big gainer there for Mooney because Mooney had outside leverage. I've said with this offensive line, if your first guy and your guy is Mooney and you got one-on-one coverage, throw it out there to him, and he had him. But just you got to make a better throw. Same thing with Griffith, the tight end.
Even on a 3rd and 3, though, Danny. Even on a 3rd and 3, when you're just trying to move the chains. Yeah,
but with this offensive line, John, when we talk about 1-2, Reed get rid of the football, right? Get rid of the football real quick, and he can't sit there, hold on to the ball, and just look at it. Now, as he gets older and he gets more progress on his offense, is he going to anticipate maybe that route coming clean with the coverage and all that stuff? Probably. Is that something that they're going to harp on in terms of his film review? For sure, yeah. My biggest thing with him was today was just some of his, the throw or the non-throw to Mooney on that first sack. That's open in the NFL. You got to whip that ball in there, leave Mooney a little bit away from the coverage. There was no safety in the middle of the field. That's one that I marked on as a negative for Justin. But in terms of, and then today his accuracy was off. Obviously, you saw the miss to Griffith, the miss to Mooney, but then he throws that beautiful deep ball into the end zone to Pettis, over his shoulder, leads them to the outside shoulder where only Pettis makes the catch. Pettis makes a great catch, obviously. It's things like this. This is what we expect, what I call growing pains, guys, with these young quarterbacks. We're going to go through this. We're going to experience this to hopefully come out at the other end when they're fully developed. And then you'll see a quarterback that, is going to be a damn good starting quarterback still in the NFL. It's my opinion. And like I said, the toughness he gives you, got hit after hit. Even that touchdown to Pettis, there was a defender bearing down on him in the pocket. He stood there and he threw the ball. That's what I love about Fields. We talked about earlier on that 39-yard run there, John. Another element he gives you is that element of, if defense plays man-on-man coverage, Justin Fields, they turn it back to Justin Fields, he can just run down for 10, 15 yards a clip if he wants to. But I'm just saying, like, these are the things we're gonna have to go through with a rookie quarterback or first, from my opinion, a rookie quarterback, right? These growing pains, right? And I've compared this before with Josh Allen. You go through, I think today was his 16th or 17th start in terms of Fields. If you go back to look the numbers with Josh Allen, Clay Harbor tweeted out today, stats were very, very comparable. And I think in some columns that Justin had better numbers than Josh Allen. It's just the development of this quarterback, development of a young quarterback, and just, getting, getting the offensive line built, getting the weapons around him. What I liked today was he got the ball to Mooney. They made a concerted effort to get the ball to Mooney. It was 7 receptions, 68 yards, which I believe is a season high for him.
Absolutely.
I think we saw a little bit more today in the first half, guys, where they kind of rolled him out, they got him away from pressure, and you saw him making some plays downfield, some throws downfield. Now, I don't want him falling in love with that, but I love seeing that separate element, right? You know, I got to keep pounding the ball in there. Now build more of the offense off of that run, play action, rollouts, and all that stuff. Unfortunately, today I think they just knew that middle of that defensive line for the Redskins, or I'm sorry, the Commanders, that is a stout defensive front, and they knew that they'd attack them on the edges, in terms of the run game, and also then try and do some things where you roll the quarterback away from the pocket and make some plays. So, like I said, they're moving the football. I know his final numbers weren't great. I think what was Justin today? He finished with 14 for 27, 190 yards passing, 71.5 rating. Not great numbers, but I just felt like in that first half, they're moving the ball between the 20s. They just, they got in the end zone, or they got in the red zone twice in the first half, once here now at the end of the game. 3 times you got inside the 5-yard line and you could not score a touchdown. That hurts.
Danny, I believe we were on the verge of a dominant national performance. And then it would have said, it's the Redskins, or excuse me, it's the Commanders. It's not that big of a deal. But John, I feel like we truly let something slip away in terms of progression. If we're going to say we're just evaluating, right? But I'm listening to what the coaches are saying during these press conferences all week long leading up to this. Like, that's what I'm holding the people accountable to. We're saying practice is good. We're saying all these other things are good, these basics. Danny, I agree with you when you said the A gap of the defensive line. That's why I was surprised that we ran it with Herbert up the middle rather than the bootleg to Justin.
Oh, the goal line, 4th down, right? 4th and goal, yeah. I would question, why isn't it? Why aren't you in I formation with a fullback in front of you there? Power through.
Yeah. If you're having a hard time getting in the middle, why not at least try something? At least have an extra blocker in there. But they're talking about Justin Fields holding onto the ball longer than any quarterback in the NFL. Not to mention there's bad pass protection. That leads me to a notion: is Justin Fields going to make it through this season upright? Because the dude was taking some serious hits tonight, and thank God they got 10 days before their next game, or they got the Monday night game coming up next. So thank God he's got some time to rest, because I don't know how many performances. I know he's young and he's a superior athlete, but you can only take so many hits until you can't go anymore. That's got to be a growing concern, is it not?
It is, but also that also shows you the toughness the kid has, right?
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
Bumps it back up, and that also builds character, builds leadership, builds the trust in his teammates in him as a leader as well. So, you don't want to see him obviously get hurt, but football is a game where he's going to take hits. Now, the one thing is you want to try and try to limit those hits as much as you can, especially for a guy like him that takes off and runs a lot with the football. So, it is concerning the fact that just as he's trying to get rid of the football, he's getting creamed in the middle of his rib cage, so that's something that where you are concerned there. So it's an unfortunate thing with this team right now. And I think someone popped in the chat in terms of, are we going to criticize the roster building of this? No one was under any false pretenses coming into the season in terms of this roster and what they're trying to do, and that this is a championship caliber team. We knew what they were doing. They were going to strip it down. They're going to get rid of all the salary cap and try to go into the next offseason. I've been saying it since they started, March or May, when they started making all those moves. This is not a team that was built to compete, to win a championship this year. So whoever's criticizing the roster, I'm surprised you even, are now just coming to it like, oh, what's going on with this roster? This roster was like this. We knew this was going to be like this at the beginning of the season. And that's why my whole thing is, the losses suck, guys. Like, this sucks. Last week's loss sucks. But you know what? My whole focus is Fields getting better? Last week's game gave us a little glimmer of hope. Today, that first half, I like what they were doing. I like the way he bounced back in the second half with a couple of touchdowns, and then almost drove him back for a winning touchdown drive there as well. So, there are some positives here. There wasn't the next step up that I was looking for, right? But again, pass protection was somewhat okay in the first half, got bogged down in the second half. There are a couple of throws again Justin could have made, should have made, didn't do. So, but they're positives, right? And that's all we can do with this season. And I know it, and like I said, the losses suck. And I'd rather have a win And just, if they won this game 14-12, I would have been happy because you know what? Hey, they play like crap in certain parts of the aspects of the game, but they came back and won the game. And there's some positive stuff they can get out of it. Also, some good teaching material too. But unfortunately, all we can do right now is just hope and just continue to get better. And now, to me, guys, Lucas Patrick is not a left guard. I mean, hopefully he's a center because he cannot play left guard. I mean, you saw the one play where Allen just swam right by him, and Braxton Jones, who I was complimenting at halftime, got it given to him by Sweat there in the second half, gave up 2 sacks. And I want Allen where he just went right between Lucas Patrick and Braxton and almost decapitated Justin where the ball came out. Luckily, David Montgomery was able to fall on the ball and pick it up this time, unlike last week. So, we got to fix that offensive line, especially the interior of the offensive line. We got to fix that thing.
Real quick, I just saw the comment popped up. I think it was from Mo Bierman, and I mean this with all sincerity, saying that we need to blow it up. Isn't that what they're doing right now? Didn't they already blow it up?
This is what blowing up looks like, guys.
Didn't they just strip it down to the studs, and they have $100 million in cap next year, and they have all their draft capital next year. I think that's what they're doing. They did blow it up. And this is what the consequences is of blowing it up. The team is going to be bad when you blow it up, and the team is bad. So this is part of blowing it up. One thing that I did want to address was, and as someone who may know the rules better than I do, but why wasn't that low hit on Justin Fields a roughing the passer? Because I know you can't go low on a quarterback. Did anybody else think that should have been a call? Because
it should have been. It should have been because the knees.
And also, why wasn't that PI on that throw to Pettis?
Oh yeah, that's very.
The guy was pulling his arm down.
Yeah, that's very true. Gaines, I wanted to get your thoughts on this, and I asked Danny. I want to ask you: are you concerned about the health of Justin Fields because the dude was dragging himself off the field? He was peeling himself up. He was getting beat up the entire game. Are you concerned that this progression year, this developmental year, could get cut short because the dude's not going to be able to go out?
Honestly, John, I am concerned because after he peeled himself off the floor, then he scrambled after that. He scrambled and got hit after that. And so I am concerned because you just see so many things around the league, and you see, I don't want to compare anybody to Tua, but like he's not just getting hit, he's getting twisted up. Like when he went down, I saw his knee hit the ground first. And so all of those things, what we don't want is him getting hurt late into the season that would jeopardize his training camp next year. Like that's what we don't want. And so as we are evaluating him, but I do like how they actually got the receivers involved. I think last week, after I watched everything, people I only were targeted like twice. And so at the end of the day, whoever's out there, you got to throw him the ball. So I did like the fact that he did throw the ball, and it looked good at times. John, if we can, just switching gears a little bit, I want to give a shout out to Jalen Johnson, man. I mean, my guy is looking like a shutdown corner. People don't even want to throw his way. So I'm really happy about the defense. I'm really excited about the defense stepping up. I know we start to get gashed in the run game eventually, but like they shut down the off. They shut them down for so long. So eventually it's gonna break open. But these DBs, Eddie Jackson's looking physical. Brisker's they coming down like missiles, man. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. And I think the defense. Listen, this is the same thing that we said against the Giants when they held them to 20 points. You hold a team to under 20 points, you should win the ball game. I mean, it's plain and simple. It's 2022 in the NFL. If you can hold a team to 12 points, you should win the ball game. It's plain and simple. And I said this on the pregame show. I said, I'm not taking a moral victory for this one because this is the one that I circled before the season, knowing full well what the Bears were going to be, knowing full well that the Bears were not going to go to the playoffs and they're not going to be a championship caliber team, but circling this game knowing that Washington's kind of a mess and that was on a short week and it's at home. There was a really good chance that the Bears could win this game. And I believe that full-fledgedly going into this game that they needed to win this game because I'm not going to take a moral victory out of some positives against the Washington Commanders, who for all intents and purposes are the worst team. If you look at the game, the way the game was played, the Bears had every opportunity to win that game, and they gave it to Washington. Washington didn't overwhelm the Bears. They didn't pull off anything that was like, oh man, they just pushed them. They deserve to win that game. The Bears should have won that game, and I believe that if I'm looking at this right, this is probably the muff punt off Bayless Jones' face.
Yeah, and this is something where I know he's a rookie, and you obviously you don't want to just kind of bury the kid because but that's 2 punts now that's cost us potentially games, right? It cost us the Giants game in terms of trying to tie the game, and this one here, you're down, you're up 7-6. You're gonna get the ball back. You never know what happens here, and if worst case scenario, you go 3 and out, you punt the ball back, and you don't give Washington a tremendous field position there. So that really much right there was the ball game. And again, I don't want to pound on the kid while he's down, but it's just like, do we just now get Pettis back there, who's he's not a great returner. I mean, he had 9 touchdowns in college, but it's like at least he can make the catch, right? And that's what you need right now, especially for a team that offensively is challenged like the Bears. You cannot be giving away games like that or field position like that where easy touchdowns for opponents. So that's something that you need to look at as well during this little mini bye, if you want to call it.
I'm going to say, do we expect Bayless Jones to be back there returning punts again?
I don't know. I don't want to say I hope not, but like maybe I hope not because when the game is on the line, because I mean he can do some other things. We saw him get that little screen off the slot. I thought he was going to be tackled for a loss. He got north really, really quick. And so, like, there's other things that he can do to change the game. I mean, guys, think about it. They only drove it to our red zone once. Everything else, the referees got them in, and then the muff punt. Besides that, they only drove in once the entire game. Game changing situation, which makes me more mad at the offense because like we couldn't take advantage of all these things. Like this was a tailor-made gift win, John. This was a gift-made win for you. Like, here, take it. We didn't want it.
No, I agree. They like I said before, they had how many opportunities you need to win the game. There were plenty, and here's that overthrow Griffin.
Oh my God.
If we slow it down, maybe you can see
can
it.
We play it? Does it look like Griffin slows down?
Griffin slowed down.
He does, and I thought he did too. I thought he did too.
Yeah, so it's like Justin trying to lead him, and he kind of like slows down. Then he picks it up there. Maybe he didn't see the ball. He didn't see Justin throwing him. Yeah, so that would have been an easy touchdown. Yeah, we talked early. You get down inside the 5-yard line 3 times and come out with 0 points.
That hurts.
It's inexcusable right there.
No, it is.
Defense, like we said, defense kind of, the run defense kind of got a little bit worse in the second half. But you're right. They only gave up 12 points. Again, this is a game they should have won. Last week is a game they could have won. The Giants game they could have won, right? I mean, these the last 3 weeks are all games that we said they could either win, they could either lose. Unfortunately, they came out on the short end of the stick. But it's just one thing that's like you don't want them to lose and then take steps backward. Both offensively and defensively. You want to see these young guys get better. I think something. I think Tyler or John, you guys touched on it. One of you guys touched on it was the defensive backfield. I think is getting really, really good. I mean, we got Johnson back. Obviously, first game back from the injury. I think Kindle Vildor has really stepped up his game opposite of Johnson. I think Gordon now, I think he kind of came off of that last week, the second half of last week, where he was really good in the open field in terms of tackling, securing tackles. He had a solid game. He had that PI on him today. That was really, really fishy, questionable pass interference on Gordon. I think the defensive secondary is getting really, really good. Eddie Jackson came up and popped McLaurin and caused a fumble. Just a bounce.
That was weird.
Right back into his hands. So it's like, I think our secondary is getting better. Again, defensive line, someone put out a question on Twitter, like, what's the first big need the Bears need in this offseason? And I said 3 technique. I mean, I think right now you need a game-wrecking 3 technique in the middle of that defensive line. And everyone's like, what? Well, with the receiver you need? I'm like, yeah, you need receivers, you need offensive linemen, you need some other stuff. But I'm like, you need a game-wrecking 3 technique in the middle of that defensive line because this whole defense revolves around that. Between that, Roquan Smith was back to being the sideline tackle machine today. I think outside
of getting floored by Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. So took him out blindside there. But so
but
there are
Nick Morrow,
like you want them to win these games. And again, Mooney comes on with that reception. That's a game-winning touchdown right there. So
and then when you talked about Roquan Smith, I wanted to say I think Nick Morrow and Roquan are playing great together. They're feeding off each other because one of them is selflessly taking the block and allowing the other one to get in there. And it just looks like they're feeding off. Well, I don't want to say Urlacher Briggs, but it's they're flowing to the ball, and that's what I saw in the first half.
They're
And that
both
was
athletic. They're both athletic linebackers that they've got good speed.
and not afraid. You can be athletic, but these guys aren't afraid to hit. They're not afraid to get in the mix, and that's what I appreciate because you're taking on these linemen, and that stuff is important. And what I was going to say, I hope Justin Fields says at the press conference about the Ryan Griffin miss. How cool would it be if he said, "Oh, I thought it was Cole Kmet." I think that'd be pretty funny.
Well, Danny, you talked about the needs on this team, and there are plenty. There are a lot. I'm interested to see what the strategy is going to be like in the offseason because they do have flexibility with the cap, but the wide receiving free agents are horrendous. They're bad. The group of free agents in the wide receiver range are bad. So do they prioritize drafting a receiver? And then I'm not sure what the three technique market looks like right now or who they could sign in free agency. But there are some serious needs here, but there's only so many free agents available. It doesn't matter how much cash you have. It's about what you can actually buy with that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they attack that in the offseason. Now, they do have quite a bit of rest now because I think they play Monday night next week against New England. We're not sure if Mac Jones will be back in that game. And if he's not, then that's another game that you would think could be winnable because you're going to be playing Bailey Zappi basically as the starting quarterback. But
N'Keal Harry will be his first game back.
Right.
Red zone target.
Yeah, which is, he's good at. If there's one thing that he's probably good at is getting contested catches. He's not going to burn you. He's not exactly the most precise route runner, but he can use his frame to get contested catches when to an extent. There's a reason that New England traded him for a 7th round pick. Let's not expect that this guy is going to be a Hall of Famer once he gets traded to Chicago. But looking over this game, honestly, guys, I feel like we're saying the same damn things we were saying after the Giants loss, where it's just like there's no reason for them not to have won that game. The defense held up its part of the deal. Hell, we could have been doing the same show for the last 3 years, where it's just like the defense held up their part of the deal and the offense just didn't get it done. A lot of people talking about the play calling. I would say that the red zone play calling is suspect, but otherwise, Danny, what did you think of Getsy's game?
Well, I mean, first half, like I said, they were moving the ball, in between the 20s, and unfortunately, when he got into the red zone, inside the 5-yard line, he just couldn't punch it through. And then second half, I think he went away a bit from the running game, and I know he a couple times tried to pitch it out and get outside those big Allen and Daron Payne in the middle of that Washington defense. It just wasn't clicking, and I think he just got a little bit too pass happy for my liking. I like to keep pounding the rock in there, and eventually you'll break a couple of runs here and there. But I think overall, I'd give him maybe if I'm going to give him a letter grade, I give him a B- because I think I like the fact that he started rolling Justin out. We saw more of that. We saw Justin going more downfield. I think he had 27 pass attempts, which I believe is a season high. For pass attempts. So, he did incorporate the passing game. For me, it was a little bit too much because, again, the game was a 1-score game. And that's the one thing we got to think about is while the Bears are rebuilding, and we knew this was a rebuilding season, they haven't been blown out, right? So that's credit. That's kudos to, and I know I don't like moral victories. I'm not saying it's a moral victory.
Against a team like this.
Yeah, I'm just giving props to the coaching staff and getting these guys ready and that they're competitive and they're competing in these games. And either one of these last 3 games could have been wins. And unfortunately, there are losses.
And Danny, you have a point with that, Danny, and that reminds me because we got to think about it. The Vikings handled the Packers. They handled the Packers, and we had that game before that strip. The Giants, we had the Giants. They made the Packers look bad. They make the Packers look really bad, and then this game is just horrible. But no, Danny, you're right. It has been that 1 score. That a couple more efforts type of games we could have just had, but to the overall perspective, Luke gets with the play calling in this game. The plays were there. We didn't make the plays. I feel like the plays were definitely there today. We did not execute on offense because the plays that were called, we should have had maybe three touchdowns. But I'll give credit to Justin because even those last two touchdown passes they tried, even the one that Pettis kind of fell kind of weird, somehow that still hit his hands. And so like I do see growth. I just expected us to come out with a W, but like I didn't expect it to be an ugly one, or even a loss.
So the one thing here with Justin here, and that's a good highlight here, is he's got to do a better job of finding those passing lanes in between the big guys. You know, here he throws it right off the helmet of the defender. There's a couple of batted balls that I think the one where Mooney would have had an easy first down.
But look, he's wide open. Like, dude, my man is wide. Who's that up there up top? Is that Komet?
Well, he was going to Komet, who had a inside leverage on his defender. Who, you know, if he zipped it in there, probably would have been a touchdown. I believe the guy in the flat out there might be Montgomery, or I think also Equanimus St. Brown. It could have been the guy out there in the flat. But yeah, it's a one thing where we're sitting here, we're looking, all right, but look at that wall around him. I mean, it's kind of hard. Like I said, he wants to. What I'm seeing with Justin doing right now is one read, two read, bam, you know, get rid of the football. And I think that a lot of it has to do with his offensive line. Now, that throw to Mooney, why he didn't pull the trigger, that was his first read. I'm not sure why he was going to pull it and he stopped. Those are things that I've seen on tape that I'm not sure what's going on, whether it's him there in his head in terms of the mechanics. Is he worried about interceptions? Heck, you know, Peyton Manning threw 26 interceptions as a rookie. You know, you just learn from these things. You're going to throw interceptions if you're an aggressive quarterback. And, you know, that throw to that first sack, like I said, that was a ball he should have thrown into Mooney. That could have avoided a sack there. So, you know, he made some nice plays. That touchdown throw to Pettis was beautiful. Again, ball placement to the outside shoulder where only the receiver could get to it. You know, but then also, you know, some throws where he didn't pull a trigger on, some throws where he didn't see the receiver come open. You know, again, this is the one thing, guys. You know, for years I've been hearing fans saying, "Let's get a young quarterback. Let's develop a young quarterback." Well, this is the growing pains of these young quarterbacks.
Right,
you know, some come in and they hit the ground running and they're like, you know, like Herbert from the Chargers, but you know, not everyone comes in just flaming the league right now. You know, Jalen Hurts, we've been keep saying this for weeks now. Jalen Hurts last year, 2 years ago was a guy like, or Philadelphia had question marks. Tua was a guy that Miami had question marks. You know, Josh Allen as a guy that, you know, had question marks about him, right? So it's they have to go through these growing pains, and it sucks, right? Like you're like, all right, he made a throw here, he made a play here, you know, we could have won this game. I understand that, but the thing is, the most important thing is his development, is him getting better. If he's regressing, then I'm concerned, because if he's regressing and you're losing, then you might need to go and reconsider what's going on here. But as long as he's getting better, he's making, you know, that play that
splash plays. He's making some splash plays.
Exactly. And then, and now so the splash plays, now you add the simple plays, right? The throw to Pettis on 3rd and 3, where he missed him. He just went to Mooney right away.
Right.
You know, if he you know, he's more comfortable in the offense. Maybe he's better in terms of identifying what's going to happen in terms of post snap. I mean, that's an easy conversion for a first down. Now you go simple plays added with those splash plays, and next thing you know, now you have an offense that can threat, you know, defenses, NFL defenses, week in and week out.
On those low throws, or on those batted down throws, Yanni, is that because of the penetration of the defensive line, or is that something to do with the way that he's delivering the football?
Well, no, I think it was just him. The quarterbacks, because a lot of times these guys, defensive linemen, are what, 6'3", 6'4". You know, Justin's what, 6'1", 6'2". I think maybe 6'3" probably. But sometimes when he goes to arm angle, does a good job of just kind of finding a throwing lane, a passing window. With some of these, where he's got to do a better job of kind of anticipating and finding a lane or a window to get that ball through there. So, you know, again, that's another thing that you have to think about in terms of, as a quarterback, not only after you recover
right there, like Paul's right there. But look at the top. Look at the top of the screen. Look at the top of the screen.
Right. But his first read is Komet, and he sees Komet got leverage, and he wants to go to Komet. So that's the thing, is like he's not going through a full progression. And I'm thinking that's probably because he knows he's on borrowed time back there. He's got to make 1-2 reads and get rid of that football.
It's my fault because I'm comparing him to Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes.
You can't do that.
But it is. But I'm comparing him to like winning football, like play outside the scheme, like guy open, throw the guy. Like it's okay. Like I don't want him playing scared. It's okay. Like, but that's what, because it could hurt you or break you. Because that's what I'm saying though. Because Patrick Mahomes does things outside of the playbook. Sometimes things aren't going to materialize in open. He got paid off of instinct. I get it. Everybody's not that raw.
But no, but
I get
Patrick
it.
Mahomes makes a lot of dumb plays too, but he gets bailed out
Yeah.
by great
Yeah.
players on the other end, right? Travis
Yes, sir.
Kelce goes
Correct.
up and fights for a football, makes a touchdown. Tyreek, how many times when Mahomes is going through that great year,
Yeah.
he just throws the ball up there, and Tyreek Hill either blows by the guy or he goes up and makes the play. Same thing with
Right.
Travis Kelce. You know, it's if you have playmakers, right, you can just throw the ball up there, be a little bit inaccurate.
But Danny, but those playmakers, they became playmakers. I'm not saying taken away from them, but they were open, and he threw them the ball. I mean, but they were open. You can't, like they always say Bears don't have receivers, but you become a playmaker by getting the ball thrown to you. It's just like you see what I mean. Like if SQ was open 3 times and caught 3 touchdown passes, if Pettis would have caught 3 touchdown passes today, we'll become a playmaker. He has to get the opportunity. We're throwing into coverage versus the open person.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways, Tyler, because look, he threw the ball to Mooney, who's his playmaker, and he dropped it at the goal line.
Right. I get you. I feel you, bro. I feel you. I'm just saying though.
It's
The
frustrating.
open guy.
I know
It is frustrating. You're right. I'm
Especially with a young
frustrated.
quarterback, especially we're a town, a city that's starving for an answer at quarterback.
Here's Matt Eberflus.
And went forward on the 4th inches down there and couldn't plunge it in down there. And then right before coming out of halftime, we scored a touchdown, which was excellent. And then we went on the last 2 drives there. We ended up went forward on 4th down, didn't get it. And then our defense did an outstanding job of rising up there when we didn't get that 4th down, and then forced a missed field goal. And then we drove it all the way down the length of the field to give ourselves a chance to win it at the end there, and then didn't punch it in there. So obviously, the storyline will be, hey, we got to, nice drives for the offense, but you got to be able to punch it in the red zone and those types of things. But I told the guys I was proud of them, the way they fought, the way they battled during the course of the day. And again, it's all about execution. It comes down to 6 or 7 plays. And I told the guys, listen, we're right there. We're right there. You just got to keep believing in what we're doing, how we're doing it. And we're right there, and we're going to get over that hump right there. And they got some time to self-reflect right now. And I told them that they got a little mini bye here. Coaches will be in there doing self-scout, and they're going to be looking at their own performances, how they can get better coming back going into our week against New England Patriots. So I will open up the questions from there. It comes down, you saw it, right? It comes down to execution. I thought we had some real good plays in there. We just got to, hit the guys when they're in the, when we had the play on and hit the guys in the open, like for Griffin there. I thought that was an excellent play. We just got to execute as a group. We got to execute as a group better down there, and we'll get that done.
And when it comes to the pass that was bounced off the helmet,
yeah,
for Justin's mechanics, possibly.
No, I mean, sometimes your arm angle changes because he's trying to fit it in there. There's a lot of big bodies in there. So a lot of times you will change your arm angle, based on what window you see in front of you. So, you can't fault him on that. He was trying to fit it in there, and that's just what happened. And we got to do a good job when the ball goes up. Somebody's got to do a good job of knocking it down. Somebody that's in the vicinity there.
The 3 red zone trips, I mean, the way they ended were so different on all 3.
Yeah.
Scratch your head a little bit on you guys, how that could kind of happen that way?
No, I mean, the first one was a interception, right? The second one was on downs, the 4th and inches, and the last one was, in the corner there, didn't get it.
Right, just like the luck of not being able to convert all 3 of those.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. We got to do a better job executing. Really, and you think about it, do a better job, of us on 1st, 2nd, or 3rd down getting the ball in there. So not putting yourself in that 4th down situation.
From your view, did you think Darnell got in on that 4th play?
I don't think he did. Yeah, I didn't think he did. I thought he was close. But from our vantage point, and there's nothing we could do at that point because it's replay review. So
I'm sorry, in the moments while you're watching him live.
Yeah, I thought he was short. Yeah.
How you caught it originally? It seemed like you caught it, followed it, and caught it.
Yeah. Then I thought he had a chance. Yeah, I thought he would have had a chance to get it for sure.
Second down play though, second drive, when Griffin was wide open. Can you just talk us what this Fields is zipping the ball too much? That seems like a pass by Nashville.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't asked him about that, talked to him, but it was a great play. It's a great call.
What kind of things are you telling him to keep him engaged back to taking the defense?
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, I told him afterward, man, he is tough. I mean, that guy is tough, and man, he can get out of a lot of things. And that one run he had down the side, I mean, some of that stuff's just amazing. You know, the type of player he is, and the toughness, the mental toughness that he has. I mean, it's phenomenal. You know, so he'll hang in there with the best of them. You know, and it's exciting to see, you know, the guys rally around him and see that toughness, because you'll rally around a guy like that. You know, that's just got that mental and physical toughness that he has. And so I just told him I was real proud of him, the way he hung in there. So again, they got some good D linemen. Obviously, they got some first rounders, and they're going to give a lot of guys fits as they have. But yeah, I was just real proud of them.
Do you need to reassess the offensive line during this break?
We're going to reassess everything. Yeah, we're going to reassess everything. I mean, everything we're going to reassess, from scheme to you know, players to everything. You know, and we're going to do a good job of that here coming up. And we're going to do a good job of really getting it to the players. You know, if it might be a lineup change, or it might be, you know, technique fundamentals, all that scheme, how we're running certain plays, who we're getting the ball to, what we're doing well, what we need to improve on. So that's going to be, you know, we're going to look at all that for sure.
Are you satisfied with the pass rush right now?
Well, the answer to that's never satisfied with the pass rush, you know, so it's always got to be better. I thought we did a good job of getting some sacks. You know, some of those were pressures that we called on third down, certainly, but we'll just look at it and evaluate that going forward. That'll be one of the things we evaluate. But sack numbers need to be up a little bit more, so and the pressure numbers need to be up too.
You guys seem to put more guys in the line of scrimmage. Is that something you and Alan talked about during the week? So put more guys in the line of scrimmage more often to kind of get the guys engaged early on. That's what you and Alan talked about.
We were in there together visiting, you know, and we in a short week like this, and you know, every week, but it was good. It was a good plan. It was a good plan for third down for sure.
With Bayless and the fumble at the 8-yard line, is this just a matter of he needs more time to be comfortable returning punts, considering the muff in New York, now this one?
Yeah, we're going to have to look at that. I mean, the number one job of any kick returner or punt returner is to catch the ball. So we're going to have to look at that.
Was wind a factor?
There wasn't. I mean, the wind wasn't that bad out there, I don't think.
We talked last week about how, especially in the second half, Justin looked like he was growing in front of our eyes. What did you see today? Did it feel like he took a step back?
No, I don't think so. I think he took a step forward. I really do, because the you know, he was the toughness, you know, and the ability, for me, the ability to take the ball and drive it down at the very end to give us a chance to win it. That's, to me, what was the improvement. Okay. Was there other moments, you know, that we need to clean up and offense needs to clean up? Sure. But we had the drives down there, and if we punch those in, the game's a different game. You know, that's 21 points, right? So for me, that was really inspiring to watch him do that at the very end, to take us down to win it at the very end. And again, we came up short, but we got to do a better job next time.
How about his touchdown, Dante, taking advantage of a free play there?
Great. That was awesome. That was great. We've been trying to pull that off, you know, these first few games, and we did. And man, what a throw! You know, we all know he's a great deep ball thrower, and he threw it right in there. And Dante had a great catch and great execution.
So you think Justin Fields took a step forward tonight?
Well, I'm just saying that he asked if it was, you know, step forward, step back. I think if you look at, for me, taking that drive to take us down for a chance to, okay, that's a step forward, because it was during 2 minutes, and it was when it counted. So to me, that's encouraging, and that's a step forward in that light.
Now, on fourth and 11 on the second to last drive.
Yep.
Take a delay.
Yeah.
What was the problem?
Well, I saw Justin clapping, right? Ball, and we thought the ball was going to get snapped, right? Because we said, hey, you know, take the timeout. You know, it's 2, 3, and he's clapping. The ball never came. So we just got to do a better job there. Got to snap the ball.
Sorry, did you on the throw to Pettis in the end zone at the end?
Yeah.
Did you argue for pass interference?
Of course.
What did you think? I mean, did you believe you had a strong case for that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They when they call it, there's nothing you can do at that point. It's pass interference, but you can argue it if you want to. You know.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
That's head coach Matt Eberflus taking questions from the media. Said they're going to reassess everything in this little mini bye week they have. Do you, for lack of a better term, buy that they are going to reassess? What is there to reassess as far as the personnel goes? Danny, what can they switch up at this point that would make any sense?
First of all, he mentioned it. Velus Jones is no longer my punt returner until he proves he can catch a damn football. I am reassessing what's going on at center. Is Lucas Patrick your center? Is he healthy enough to snap the football? Because him moving him in center, and I'm finding myself another left guard. Whether it's Cody Whitehair comes back, which he won't, because it's going to be he's off for 4 weeks. But we got to reshuffle that offensive line. I know Leatherwood came back. Alex Leatherwood, and I'm not sure if you want to just throw him back out there at right tackle. You want to kick Borum inside. I know Tevin Jenkins was benched again today. I thought maybe it was for an injury. They put Michael Schofield in there again, and they put in Schofield instead of Jenkins. I thought maybe it was injured, but then when Patrick got hurt, Lucas Patrick got hurt, they moved Schofield over to left guard, and he brought back Jenkins, so he was just being benched. So with Jenkins, it's like, I know pass protection is his issue, right? In pass pro, run blocking, I think he's doing a solid job. Can he get better? For sure, everyone can get better. But I think that's the thing. We got to solidify the interior of the offensive line. I think Braxton Jones had a rough second half today, but I think for the most part, he's a rookie 5th round pick who's going to get better as the season goes on. You know, the one thing where the media keeps harping on him here about his comment in which he saw Justin Fields take a step forward. And then that's the thing is, and some people in the chat, I think I don't know if it's Amy McDonald or some who talk about the quarterback being trash, and you're going to start Amy and Bethany McDonald. All right. You're talking about the quarterback being trash. This kid's made 16 starts in the NFL. What do you want? You want a guy to come in here and just be automatic all-pro first day? He's getting better. If you don't see it, if you're going to sit there and just look at the stats and see his completion percentage and look at all the throws, attempts, and all this stuff, and then you're a stat person, then you go look at your stats. But I'm looking at the guy who's taking command of this offense. And I mentioned it before the coach came on, how his toughness makes his teammates rally around him. I think this guy's developing into the leader of this offense. I think he's a guy that's going to need some time to develop. He's not going to be a Justin Herbert that comes in and lights the world on fire, because guess what? Justin Herbert's got 3 pretty damn good receivers on the outside. Now, he's got Mooney, who I told you guys the last week or 2-3 weeks ago, on a great team. Mooney's at best your number 3 receiver. Right now, he's our number 1 receiver, right? He's a pretty damn good receiver, but he's not a number 1 receiver in the NFL. You know, you guys, you keep asking for these young quarterbacks. It takes time. There are growing pains. There are growing pains, guys.
You were on the sideline using the resistance band because it started the 3rd quarter. Was that to loosen up your left shoulder? What happened on that?
Yeah, it's just my left shoulder hurted a while back, so it just kind of re-aggravated it. So I was just trying to keep the muscles, activating and just keep it moving.
Justin, what do you guys need to do to be better in the Reds?
Finish. That's it. That's the gist of the whole game. Finish. We didn't finish. Missed a wide open touchdown pass. Didn't finish. 4th and 1. Handed the ball off to Demo. Couldn't finish it. Last play. Couldn't finish it. There's multiple plays in that game that we could have made to, change the whole game, but the summary of it all is we didn't finish. And, it doesn't matter if you drive all the way down to the 1 yard line and don't score. So, that's the same thing as a 3 and out, and you punt inside the 10. So it's the same thing. So, just the biggest thing is just finishing.
Did you think when Darnell went up, did you think he was going to get over there? He was bobbling in the air.
Get over there?
Get over the line.
Yeah. Wasn't he over the line like when he caught it?
Yeah, that was kind of wild.
Yeah. So I guess if he didn't bobble it, probably would have been a touchdown for real. But that just goes back. Just finish the catch, finish the throw, finish the run, finish the blocks. As an offense, we got to finish. I got to be better. We all got to be better. So yeah.
What did you think of the throw before that? You've seen the replay of it?
It was a PI that we didn't get.
Justin, when you're talking about finishing and executing, it seems like there are pieces or plays there where you all are performing at a high level. Is it a logistic thing that's missing? What is the key to actually finishing?
When the play's there, make it plain and simple. There's no logistics. It's not simple. It's not complicated. It's when you have that opportunity, finish. It's that simple. And, we just didn't do that tonight. So you don't have to make it harder than it is. Pitch and catch. And the one that's making me mad is the one who Griff in the end zone. I mean, he probably could have ran a little bit more, but I mean that he's wide open. I got to hit that. I'm an NFL quarterback. I got to hit that. And then the first one to Cole, all out. We got cover 0 on the last one. I'm the first drive and just tipped the ball. So I mean, I can't do anything about that. But I mean, we had plenty of opportunities in the game that we just didn't finish. So we just got to get better at that.
Does the game take us through the function of catching them with too many on the field, getting everybody to line of scrimmage and knowing where to go for football? When did you first recognize you kind of had them in the process of getting everybody up to the ball? Yeah, I mean, when we play a team, we just look at, do they substitute a lot? And the coaches in the box, usually see that they're substituting. So just call in my ear, and then we get on the ball and I can play. And then if they're off the field, then we just chill out and, get a play dialed up. But, they still had extra guys on the field. And, at that point, it's just get open. So, it's a free play at that point. So, Dante did a great job and made a great catch. Lime did a great job blocking, and, it was a good play.
How hard is it for you to kind of motivate everybody else when you are feeling the way you are through a game like this?
Everybody's feeling this way. Everybody's mad. I mean, nobody's happy about his loss. Just we always get told that we're almost there. We're almost there. Like me personally, I'm tired of being almost there. I'm tired of being, just this close. I feel like I've been hearing it for so long now. But at the end of the day, all you can do is get back to work. That's the only reaction you have. Live and you learn, and get back next week and keep going, keep getting better.
Justin, can you take us through that final play, the one to Mooney? It looked like Montgomery was leaking out.
Montgomery's the 5th read on that play. It's the last read. So in reality, if I'm being real with you, there's a 5% chance you're gonna get back to him. So he's the last read on that. I'm not gonna, it's boom, 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 boom. Like he's a last read on that. So Mooney was open. He won. And like I said before, just got to finish.
Is that more for all the work you've done with Mooney for the last 2 years? I imagine you'll take your chances of throwing the ball to him with the game on the line.
I'm doing it every trip. I mean, if my boy's open, I got full trust in him. Anybody on his team, I don't care if it's a practice squad guy, I don't care if it's Mooney, anybody. If I'm out there with them, I'm gonna put my full trust in them, and if they make a mistake, they make a mistake. Move on. It's that simple.
Justin, last one. You said last week that you felt the distraction was a little bit better. This week, do you feel like it was rest, or it was more of a symptom of going against?
I felt like they got back there. Everybody knows that Washington has a great D line. They have great D tackles, so definitely felt them coming today for sure.
Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate you.
And then, John, do you want to go and bring us
No,
back
I was
in?
going to say immediate reactions off of hearing that.
Right. I mean, the guy's pissed. The guy's a competitor. The guy wants to win. And then for people in the chat, again, I don't want to go back to my little mini rant here. People in the chat are saying that he sucked. He's the worst quarterback in the league. We only scored 7 points, and the offense didn't look too damn good today. But imagine how bad this offense would look without Justin Fields. He was the best player on the field today for the Bears offensively. I don't think you can question that. He had 12 rushes for 88 yards. He was 14 of 27, 190 yards and a touchdown. So if you don't think he was the best player on offense today for the Bears, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you're looking at then. So again, this is a guy that's going to get better. I have full confidence that he's going to get better, especially when the talent around him gets better. He's a competitor.
I'm trying to play the long game here, Danny. I really am, and I still have a lot of hope in Justin Fields. And I think that people they jump to these conclusions about Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, who actually sat out a year, by the way. He didn't take the league by storm as a rookie. He's under the tutelage of Andy Reid, sat out a year. But look at the situations. He has Andy Reid. He has Tyreek Hill. He has Travis Kelce. Justin Herbert has Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. We're a fan base that is frothing at the mouth about N'Keal Harry getting off the IR. So let's try
Exactly.
to look at these a little comparatively here,
Thank you.
because
Thank you.
it's ridiculous to think that he can take that same step when he doesn't have the same weapons. I know he missed throws. I know he made mistakes. That's part of the process,
Right.
but that's
Thank
part of developing a quarterback. You're not getting a Hall of Famer stepping off the bus right out of the draft. I still have hope that he can be a really good player, but he needs some more help around him. Of course, he's going to miss throws. He missed an open receiver. He misses a couple open receivers. But for God's sakes, you can't bury a kid after 17 starts.
Right.
And
Exactly.
he's
And call him a
trash.
bust.
Yeah,
And call him a
you're
bust.
gonna, that the Bears need to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Are you
And he
kidding me?
just came-
You
he
hand
just came
somebody a
back there.
terrible situation and say, we got to draft another rookie to put him in that situation next year. I bet that rookie will make it work with Equinemius St. Brown and Darnell Mooney as your number one and all these other island of misfit receivers on 1-year contracts. I'm sure that somebody small, that is another rookie quarterback will make it work. Come on.
Exactly.
Address
Exactly.
the actual needs. Go
Exactly.
get offensive linemen. Go get wide receivers. Quit putting Band-Aid. Like, this is what the Bears do. They got to just keep putting Band-Aids on things, Band-Aids on things, Band-Aids on things, Band-Aids on things. Build around your actual players.
That's it.
You don't
That's
like.
it.
You need a receiver when you're gonna go draft a quarterback. Come on.
Exactly.
I honest to God, respect everyone's opinion and their passion about this team. But holy crap, to say that they need to go get a quarterback?
Right. Right. And
That's
this quarterback class, guys,
insane.
ain't great, by the way. I know the media's selling this quarterback class, this upcoming quarterback class as being great. It's not great. I have questions about Bryce Young being an NFL quarterback. I have questions about Will Levis from Kentucky. You know, a talented kid, big kid, but he's not a surefire come in day one start. You know, so far that we've seen of him. So there's a lot of questions. CJ Stroud from Ohio State. I wouldn't take him over
As
Justin
if
Fields.
there's like an automatic $1 million lotto ticket in next year's draft that was going to just make everything happen. The messiah of quarterbacks is going to step in and make these current players Hall of Famers.
He just said in that press conference that Montgomery was his fifth read. You think you're going to sit there behind this offensive line and go through five reads at the goal line? At the goal line?
Absolutely not. And to answer Swanky's question here, the supporting cast is terrible, has polls, and the Bears completely missed a chance to evaluate Justin in this mess. I kind of made that point a few weeks ago where I don't think you can have a real solid opinion on Justin Fields, even at the end of the season. You can have a better idea. You can have a much better idea of his trajectory and where he's going. But I don't even think you can really evaluate him until you see what they do in the offseason next year. And trust me, when you got a quarterback on a rookie deal, I don't think you're going to overload your roster with what are they going to do with Fields then? They're going to just have two quarterbacks on two rookie deals? And what you're going to trade? And I don't know how many people delve in the stock market, but do you really sell low at Justin Fields stock right now? What are you going to get for Justin Fields right now? You're going to just trade
you don't
Justin
give up on a
Fields.
kid after
You
17
don't give
starts.
up on somebody when you haven't put anything around him. If you want to criticize the GM, be my guest. He wasn't really given a really good situation to begin with because he had to clear off a lot of dead money. By the way, still paying Andy Dalton, still paying Nick Foles, still paying Jimmy Graham, still paying Danny Trevathan. You can thank the last regime for that. They were kind of dealt a crappy hand this year. I feel bad for Justin Fields for the hand he was dealt. But at that same time, I don't think you're going to be able to really identify where he is as a franchise quarterback until 2023.
The only way you can identify John is something that maybe you and I and Tyler and some of the fans won't see. It's in that building. How does he face this adversity? How does he face this tough season? How does he rally around his teammates? Does he kind of sulk and does he alienate himself or does he galvanize this team and say, hey, you know what, be a leader? Like today, I touched on it before the coach came on. I said, that toughness, his teammates rally around someone like that, a quarterback that's tough like that and be a leader like that. How does he act in that locker room, in that building during this tough times? And that's how he can grow in terms of the eyes of the Bears, brain trust. Is he developing that trust with his teammates? Is he becoming this face of the franchise within that locker room? Everyone's going to follow him. That's how he can grow. And I think he's taking steps that way. Now, also, we want to see steps on the field. And I think we'll see some of those as well as the season goes on. Now, if game 17, he's 14 for 21 for 100 yards, I'm going to have some questions now. I'm like,
Sure.
all right. I need to see a little bit better here, right? If they're still scoring 5 or 6 points, 7 points, we got to see some more progress here. So that's the thing, is like last week was some progress. This week he made some nice plays. There are some throws that he should have made, and some throws that he probably should have made. And I'm gonna be the first one to admit it. But again, that's what John and I and Tyler have been saying. This is a young kid that's going to be going through these growing pains, and we just have to endure with it. This is what happens when you bring in a young
real quick, and just to address something, Zach Sullivan. Usually, I love all of your passion and usually your insights here. But the money they had to spend, did you want him to spend $80 million on Christian Kirk? Is that what you wanted him to spend?
They had no money to spend. They had no money to spend, Zach. They had no money to spend. Remember, they got rid of. They got rid of all that dead cap money. They're going to have over 100. I think they're like $60 or $70 million in dead cap because all the players they got rid of. They weren't. I mean, they were under the cap, but they didn't have that much money to go out and spend. And like John said, the pickings were slim. You know, Christian Kirk, is he worth that much money? You know, I don't think so. And like I said, next year we'll see how they retool, regroup. Remember, they're going to have a full draft class. They're going to have, if they get a high pick, that maybe there's a team that's going to be, thirsty enough, Carolina or whoever wants to go up there to get a quarterback. You never know what's going to happen. Next thing you know, you're gonna take that high pick and you can trade, and now you can recoup a bunch of first and second future picks and all that stuff. And that's how you build a football team. I've always said, if your offense and defensive lines suck, then your team sucks. And right now, the Bears' offense and defensive line suck, guys, and that's it. Now, all thing I'm looking at is Justin Fields, and is he getting better week in and week out?
Why am I shouting? Because I've been on the air for 3 hours today. That's why I'm shouting, Steven. Because I did an hour and a half pregame show. I did a halftime show. I'm doing it now because it's midnight on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and this is the only way I can stay awake right now is to shout at you. So I'm shouting at you.
People want to give it to Justin Fields after 17 starts. That's why I'm shouting.
Yeah, well, the only argument I will listen to is as far as what they could have been done is that if you want to say, hey, they could have had George Pickens in the second round and they decided to get Kyler Gordon, I'll listen to that. I'll listen to that all day that's a good. I think that's a solid argument, and I can understand the validity in that. So but I can also see the value in Kyler Gordon. I'm certainly not giving up on him, but I can certainly understand someone saying they needed wide receiver help. There wasn't much to go after in free agency. You didn't really have the assets to do it, but you could have drafted George Pickens or Alec Pierce to that matter. So
for me, it was Pickens over Brisker, and that's just because and Brisker's gonna be a good player. I have no doubt about him. But it's the value for me in safety on a team that you're rebuilding. Offense, defensive line suck. Skill position players suck. You need to rebuild those before you go get a safety. So that's the thing, is like that's the only pick I had a problem with was the not the player but the position they went with the safety pick. They could have got a guy like Pickens or Pierce.
All right, guys. Yeah. I'm losing. Go ahead, Gaines. I'm sorry. I was gonna go around to wrap up, but you got something to say?
No, we can wrap up. But Danny, you're right. I just think it comes down to philosophy, and it comes down to philosophy and what Flus was trying to implement with the team in the draft. I'm glad we got safe. I'm glad we got the two young guys on defense because we couldn't stop anybody. We couldn't stop anybody, period. And so that it's embarrassing. Like, remember, we were losing 50-0. We were getting blown up by 50 points not too long ago. And so, but I'm with you. And people that want to just think quarterbacks can. I mean, Steelers fans, they wanted Kenny Pickett, and that his first game in, like, you don't want the young guys getting hurt. Like the NFL is a different type of speed. It's a different type of animal. And like, especially when the offensive line is not ready, you're truly putting your livelihood on the line. That's why these guys make this much money. And so I feel better because Justin Fields is pissed. So I feel better because my quarterback's mad. So he fell on the sword. He was accountable, didn't make excuses. I can't say nothing bad about the guy. That's all you can ask for, any grown man.
You know who does make excuses? It was this guy when he was wearing the Blaze Orange. It was Rex Grossman. Yeah. I have a Blaze Orange Rex Grossman jersey that I bought on sale for like $14 in 2007. I should have seen it coming. Huh?
You overpaid for it.
I did overpay for it, but I can't believe it. For like 15, 16 years later, I still have this puppy. But remember, Rex Grossman, he had no problem blaming New Year's Eve as a reason why the Bears lost. So I'll take Justin Fields' demeanor any day.
Rex Grossman had 7 games, with 100% QB rating than 6 games with like under 10% or something.
Yeah, hey, going deep, just sling it, see what happens, man. It's whatever. Rex is our quarterback. All right, guys, let's start wrapping things up here. It's getting late, and you know what? We're gonna start recycling things, and I don't want to do that. So, Gaines, let's go with you. Final thoughts, what's going on, and then we'll go around the horn here.
Final thoughts, not much, but everybody in the chat, thank you for spending time with us. We appreciate all the comments, no matter how silly some of them may be. I get it. I definitely understand being upset about a team that you just want to see win at the end of the day. And so, but don't let it affect your heart. Don't let it affect your day tomorrow. The Barroom Network will be here for you guys with all types of coverage. Stay tuned to everything the network is putting out. We got the Chicago Bulls season about to come off, and so we got some guys covering that in a very large way. But besides that, enjoy we got a nice little break, and hopefully we look forward to some adjustments. That's all I got, John.
Danny, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, again, a tough loss. That's 3 weeks in a row that the Bears could have won, but unfortunately they lost. It is what it is, basically. I hate saying that, but it's something that we knew was going to be coming into the season. It's a rebuild. They tore it down to the bare minimum here, and they're just trying to kind of see what they can, lay their foundation and just kind of build from here. And there's going to be tough losses like this, and you hate seeing games where you lose by one. And I think every single one of their losses has been by less than a touchdown. So that's the thing, is like every single game they're in it, they have a chance to win it. So but the good thing is, I think that quarterback is getting better slowly but surely. And I just want to continue to see him get better and better and better. Again, the wins, losses, are going to be tough the losses are going to be tough to take. The wins are going to be nice to have. But I think that found number is going to be irrelevant for this season. I think this season is going to be just about development. Justin Fields, my primary concern there. And he took too many hits today. I think, Eberflus said, you got to go back during this little mini bye and reevaluate, the starting lineup, evaluate, scheme and technique and all. You got to do all that, and I think offensive line, I think maybe it's time for Mustafa to go to the bench, put Patrick in there and see if he can play center, because he can't play guard. And then, finally settle, is Tevin Jenkins going to be a starter at right guard, or is it someone that you guys have no faith in and put someone else in? I mean, you have Leatherwood coming back. You have this kid, Kellen Deach, you picked up off of waivers, and he's on your practice squad. He's an athletic kid that played at Arizona State at tackle, but he's a guard at the next level. Try different things, because right now, you can't afford to get your quarterback killed. And the main thing is keeping him upright and keeping him safe and having him continue to develop throughout the season. So another tough loss, could have been a win again, but it is what it is right now with this team.
All right. Final thoughts from me. And, if I upset you with my yelling, I apologize. Unfortunately, that's my style, and I wasn't yelling at anyone in particular. So if you took offense to it, I apologize.
Don't apologize. No, that's how we are. We're passionate, and
I yell. This is actually how I talk. This isn't actually me yelling. This is how I talk. So unfortunately,
you guys should see our staff meetings.
Yeah, it's true. That's also true. And some of our text messages. But anyway, you know what? This is a long, frustrating game. This is a game that I said I was not going to take a moral victory on. And I'm not going to take a moral victory on this one. This sucked. This sucked, and I'm mad. I hate when they lose. I hate when they lose in prime time, because that means not only am I not going to get any sleep because I have to be up in 4.5 hours, but I can't even say that it was worth it, because the Bears played a crap stinker of a game and lost to the Washington Commanders. So that's an even more reason to throw salt into the wound. But you know what? They have a mini bye week. They get back after it for another primetime game on Monday night against the Patriots. We'll see what they can do there. But once again, we appreciate everybody in the chat room. We appreciate everyone that's listening to the live version, to the podcast version, to the video version, and to the audio version. Appreciate everybody that's on this show with me, Tyler and Danny and Aldo behind everyone. Love all of you make this happen. And so, this is a great community we built here at the Bar Room. A lot of positivity, a lot of good conversation, and it's all in good fun. And remember, guys, this is football. The sun's still coming up tomorrow. There's still a lot going on. A lot more important things going on than this, but that doesn't mean that we can't still be pissed off about it. But that'll do it for this edition of Bear Football. For Danny Shimon and Tyler Ellis, I'm John Buffone. We'll see you next time.